Today we've got a video, a special video, and this is...
It's special.
Very special. 5 hacks you do not want to do. It's reversed, kind of.
Psychology, reverse psychology.
So
what do you do? Do you do them? Do you not do them?
You do not do these you don't do these hacks, so stay tuned for this video. Here we got some things in front of us. I think we'll talk about the very first hack, and this is one you do not want to do. And so I keep seeing this and reading it, petroleum jelly. Put petroleum jelly on the areas that you don't want to paint. Like say for instance, a doorknob, or I think I saw one, there was a picture of a door hinge. Here's the problem with that. Okay, you can take it, and I saw like they had a little brush, like an artist brush inside of
the How old is this petroleum jelly?
That is a good question. I think that's been in our bathroom since we've been married. I
think everybody has a 30-year-old thing of petroleum
I can't believe they still
jelly.
make this stuff. It's kind of weird. It's really, I mean, my hands are all greasy already. It's just all over the place now, and so I feel like I'm already contaminated. But
let's go do a set of cabinets.
Look, if you put this stuff on anything, I mean, eventually you're gonna have to wipe it off. And what if it gets onto now your painted surface? But what's gonna happen a year from now with wherever that petroleum jelly was and you just wiped it off with a rag?
It's gonna collect dust, it's gonna collect dirt, it's going to just not look very good. And I think, like Chris said, the odds of you getting it just perfectly off of those hinges, you might as well have just spent all your time masking instead of messing around with goo.
Just break out some frog tape, mask that hinge off with frog tape, and toss that. Give that petroleum jelly back to your wife so she can use it, you know, as her makeup remover or whatever she uses it for. So I'm not a girl, so I'm not going to.
Don't think that's
what. Is that not what they use it for?
You know, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Hard pass.
Okay, so let's get on. Just get away from the petroleum jelly. Don't use it. Let's get on to the next hack. And I see this one. When I first saw this, I thought, whoa, that's so smart. It's so brilliant. I mean, the Pringles can, and you can take and put your paint roller in a Pringles can. And I mean, how brilliant. And
it's almost like it was made for it.
I know. It was like, maybe Pringles, they own like a roller company or something like that, like Premier Rollers.
Wasn't a lot of money in it, so
but
they went with chips.
So we went down, bought some Pringles. Your kids wolf these things down, like, I mean, in seconds.
I saw him eat some. And don't listen to it. Yeah.
So, but okay, look. If you're gonna put your roller inside this Pringles can, what is in there? I mean, there's all kinds of salt.
Well, it looks like barbecue flavor.
There's barbecue all over there. The Pringles have oil all over them. You're gonna get oil all over your roller. It's gonna contaminate your roller with salt, barbecue sauce, and I don't know if you're licking your walls and you want your walls to taste like barbecue. And maybe that's why you're doing it. But they say also you can wrap it in plastic and then put it in here, but I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, I mean, you already wrapped it in plastic, so why put it in a container? I mean, it's done at that point. Now you're just eating a can of Pringles because you want to eat a can of Pringles. If you like Pringles, it's okay. Just eat you don't have to justify it while you're painting.
Just toss the Pringles can when you're done. Don't try to use it for a roller cover or something like that. You can use a brush baggie, which it works a little bit better. So now on to our next hack you probably don't want to do. You fashioned this.
I did fashion. I like that. There was some craftsmanship involved.
You fashioned that.
Fashioned it.
And so a cut-in bucket, so you can make your own cut-in buckets now out of milk jugs. And you do not have to. We got one right there. You can grab one of our actual. This is a true painter's cut-in bucket. This is a 2-gallon bucket. Now, here's one reason why to use a cut-in bucket. Look, it always kind of stays balanced. When I go tilt here, it's not going to spill. What's going to happen with that when you go to bend over?
Bad things.
Here,
I mean, and just in general, this is going to be a little trickier to work with. Your margin for error is significantly less.
Let's see. Come on, we'll put some paint in there. We got some breakthrough. Now you got yourself. But look, I mean, whoa, you do have a small margin for error.
Risky.
This could be, if you go to bend over to like do a touch up or cut in
like
down
this.
below you. Look at that.
Oh,
I mean,
look, it's coming out the handle.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Didn't you ever do that
like
with a gallon of milk? You were like,
and that even looks like milk because it's white. So,
oh, see, now we've got a problem.
this is really like weak, flimsy. You know, in the pictures we see that, and it's like so amazing. You got a brush holder to go along with your cut-in bucket, which you don't have with a true painter's cut-in bucket. But look, I mean, this thing, you buy one, it'll last you your entire life. I mean, really, and it's just a couple bucks.
Unless you have a painting company and then you buy several.
So my hack list just disappeared. It's we're gonna have to find out what aluminum foil. You're pointing at the drill. So,
yeah, there's a drill there.
Was there something you wanted with the drill or the aluminum foil?
Let's just talk about aluminum foil.
This is
God's miracle.
So this is so interesting. So you'll see this. Use aluminum foil to not get paint on the surfaces you don't want to get paint on. And you see the pictures of this wrapped around a doorknob.
Why not just use paper? Like, you're still taping it anyway. Right?
Yeah, and look, if you can't afford a hand masker, like a 3M hand masker, I know they're expensive. You can literally just take newspaper.
Have you bought foil lately?
But you can take paper, just put a piece of tape on the paper and wrap that around a doorknob. And now you have a sealed edge if you're using frog tape, and you're not gonna get anything leaking underneath. I tried to put this on a doorknob. You might see that video floating around here somewhere, or some B-roll footage of me attempting to do this. It's very difficult and very time consuming, and to me, just utter nonsense. Because it's not going to give you a sealed edge, so the paint's going to bleed underneath it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bad news bears.
So we have an open can of paint right here, and we have a brush right there. So this is kind of interesting. You can take a can of paint and you can put a rubber band around it,
and then you can play it like a guitar.
I thought it was kind of interesting when I first saw the hack, but then I realized really quickly the dangers of this. And this is something you'll want to know, because the first time it happens, you're gonna go, oh, and then that's not gonna be good. So what's the whole rubber band thing for?
So theoretically, you're going to do a little dip to the brush, and then you're going to wipe the paint off the brush onto the rubber band so that, there's not a bunch of paint on your brush.
So we can just even try it, who knows? So my concern with this is, if somebody is not careful enough, and now that was aggressive. That's my concern with somebody that doesn't have a lot of rubber band experience. So I just put paint everywhere. So this is so dangerous. What if it does that and it flicks onto something like cloth, like on a pillow on a couch or on carpet? This is white, so if it goes on the white carpet, you can't even see it anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
Not that we're endorsing that.
So really, the rubber band, just use the rubber band for what it's supposed to be used for.
Well, that's not even how brushes work. Like, you need to work the paint into the brush itself. If you just dip the brush and then wipe all the paint off the excess, that's why it takes you forever to cut a line on a ceiling, because there's no paint in the brush. You've just scraped everything off of it.
So typically as a painter, we use cut-in buckets, and so we're patting it on the side of the cut-in bucket. But you'll see guys use the cans and stuff like this, and they'll just scrape it on the side of the can. And so the rubber band's supposed to be instead of on the side of the can, so you don't take and fill up. I guess, is that called the well or the lip, or what is it called?
You can call it whatever you want.
Anything I want. I'll call it the well. We'll just call it a well. So the paint goes down there. Look, if I'm painting now this, which I rarely do, and I do get paint inside there, or you just look. I mean, it's really simple. You just take your brush, you scrape it out just like this, and it takes it right out, and it's cleaned.
It's not like you can return the can, right?
Right.
Like,
and so
it's gonna have a little paint in the channel.
Which brings us to our final hack that you do not want to do, and that is punching holes in the well of the rim of the can.
I'm really just punching holes in general is a bad Bad idea.
So what they're talking about, and this is what they say, is I don't have a hammer with me. We can use, you could even, I guess, use a drill.
Yeah, because now you get metal shavings in there too.
That's exactly what I was going to see. You noticed that. So you don't want to drill holes in there because you're going to get metal shavings, but you take a nail and a hammer and you hammer and put holes. But what happens if you hammer a little too hard and it tips the can over?
Well, that's bad. In general, we call that bad in the business.
It's just simply not good. You just don't want to do it. But also, when you perforate a hole through there, those holes are probably going to rust in a short period of time. And what is that going to cause?
Well, your can is going to not come off. You're going to get rust contaminants on the inside, and more likely than not, you don't have a good air seal, which means all that paint's going to dry out anyway.
And so if it rusts, what happens is the rust will get into paint, and if it's white paint like this paint, it's going to discolor the paint and you'll no longer have white paint. So do not punch holes in the rim of your can.
Don't do it.
So I think we're at the end of our hacks that you don't want to do.
Or do you?
You can do you if you want to do you, and if they want to go ahead and do them, they can.
You're going to walk away from this and you're going to go, do we do them? Do we not do them? I don't understand what the message was.
We just confused
just turn it off. Don't do these things.
Don't do these things. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs up if you've liked it. If you want to see more hacks that you don't want to do.
Or that you do want to do.
Yeah, because we do things that you do want to do. So if you've got a question or comment, or if you've tried these below and you've had a good experience or a bad experience, let us know down below what you think and what you think of him.
Don't tell me what you think of me. I've heard it all before.
He's heard it all. Anyways, he's got to get going. I got to get going. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. We'll see you on our next video. Out.